Hello, a very good morning. You're welcome along to Ireland N on Virgin Media 1. It's Monday, the 21st of November.
He's back, Johnny, you're back.
I know.
I thought it was
while.
like he's taken a week off and he's not going to come back to me. He's like, I've gotten rid of her.
Went off, got my knee fixed up. I'm still hobbling around the place, but yeah, all good.
Walking like
all
this.
Good.
You're walking very.
Yeah,
It's like, what can we do for you? What can we make it better? But you're fine. You're good.
No, feeling great.
We
thank
are.
you. Nice to be back again. And listen, coming up very shortly. I was at the rugby at the weekend. Ireland are the #1 team in the world. We've now Josh van der Fleer, who's the #1 player in the world. Yeah. Terry Kennedy, #1 sevens player in the world, the #1 golfer. Sport-wise, Ireland's looking pretty good. And we beat Malta.
Not at the World Cup, though.
No.
We didn't get to go to Qatar, but that's fine with us,
Well, the World Cup, of course, has kicked off, and very shortly we are going to be reviewing yesterday's opener between Qatar and Ecuador. What a cracker that was. And previewing today's matches, which include England taking on Iran and Wales against the US.
Yes, there are some reports coming out that Ireland, the team that we are supporting, is England in the World Cup. We'll be talking more about that in just a little while. We'd love to hear from you. You're going to go support them at 0896 111 111. Also this morning, Dr. Aoibhinn Ní Shúilleabháin on tackling Ireland's biodiversity emergency.
Plus, move over calendar girls. The folks of Abbyfeale in County Limerick. Oh yes, they've stripped down to their bare essentials. Look at that. It's a dinner party you want to be at,
or
in the local shop you don't want to be at. For a new calendar, all in aid of the Irish Cancer Society. We're going to be chatting to some of the participants a little bit later on.
Fair play to them, it's brilliant. Fair play. Tommy's not the only one who left me last week. Did the two of you go on holidays and just not tell me?
We just left you here and we're in.
It does feel like that.
No, we just decided.
We're done with her.
We need him. We're in detox.
She does the show on her own anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. we just get told what to do by Murray.
Parts.
Okay. Wow.
No, we're only joking. We're only joking. It is the last week of I'm a Celeb, and Scarlett Douglas was the second campmate to be evicted last night. We're going to be reviewing all the action from the show with Brian Lloyd a little later on, and going to be looking ahead who we might think, and I think it's going to be Mike Trimble to take... Oh, Mike Tyndall! Mike Trindle.
Close enough. There you go. Yeah, he's doing really well.
He's doing really well. I love Mike Trindle. He's going to stay Trindle as for me now. Derek has hit the slopes. Well, sort of. Where exactly are you this morning, Derek?
Yeah, Al, it's a soft morning down here in Kiltiernan on the Dublin-Wicklow border. It's actually pouring out of the heavens here at the moment. Some very heavy rain crisscrossing the island, backed by a fresh to strong, locally gusty southeasterly wind. It looks like it's down for the day, guys. But we'll come down here to the Ski Club of Ireland because we're off to hit the piste. We've got our skis here at the ready. So hopefully once the rain clears up, we're going to be getting a little bit of a lesson later on. So yeah, we'll see how we get on.
Sorry about it. Eric,
miserable, doesn't he? It looks horrible out there. Okay, it is time to get the news over in the Virgin Media News Hub. Here's Rob Condon.
Thanks, Tommy. Good morning.
Okay.
The Special Criminal Court is due to begin hearing audio tapes today of a bugged conversation between Jerry the Monk Hutch and former Sinn Féin councillor Jonathan Dowdall, alleged to have occurred after the Regency Hotel attack. Lawyers for Mr Hutch, who denies David Byrne's murder, have objected to the evidence being admitted in the trial.
The prosecution has described it as perhaps the core of its case. Today, the Special Criminal Court is due to begin hearing 10 hours of conversations between murder-accused Jerry Hutch, known as the Monk, and former Sinn Féin councillor Jonathan Dowdall, which are alleged to have taken place 1 month after the Regency Hotel attack. Opening the trial, prosecutor Sean Gallan said many topics were discussed, including events at the Regency, the existence of the feud with the Kinnan organised crime group, and efforts to make peace. Lawyers for Mr Hutch have argued that the evidence should be ruled inadmissible, as Dowdall's car was in the north and therefore outside the jurisdiction for 8 of the 10 hours of those recordings. The 3 judges at the non-jury court will listen to the tapes and rule on their admissibility later. David Byrne was shot dead on February 5th, 2016, when gunmen stormed the Regency Hotel during a boxing weigh-in and opened fire. Jerry Hutch has denied murder. Deborah Naylor, Virgin Media News.
A rain alert for the entire country is in place throughout today. Heavy and thundery downpours are expected, with Waterford, Wexford and Wicklow forecast to be the hardest hit areas this morning, where an orange alert has been issued until midday. Flooding is expected in places. A nationwide yellow warning will expire at 8 p.m. tonight. The International Atomic Energy Agency is appealing to both Ukraine and Russia to set up a safety zone around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant after powerful explosions close by over the weekend. The UN nuclear watchdog says nothing critical to nuclear safety was damaged, but warned that shelling there risks a major nuclear disaster.
The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in southeast Ukraine, the scene of intense shelling over the weekend. The UN nuclear watchdog confirmed that powerful explosions took place near the facility, which is under Russian control. Its Director General called on whoever was responsible to stop immediately. Russia's defence is blaming Ukrainian troops. Ukrainian officials say new attacks by Russia have occurred around the Ukrainian city of Nikopol, just across the river from the nuclear plant. There are serious concerns about heat, water and electricity supplies throughout Ukraine as winter sets in, following multiple missile strikes on critical infrastructure in recent weeks. Marie Mulcahy, Virgin Media News.
And to the US now, where an attacker opened fire in a gay nightclub late Saturday night, killing 5 people in Colorado. Police say at least 18 people were injured in the mass shooting in the venue known as Club Q. In a statement on social media, Club Q described it as a hate attack, something police say they are investigating. The suspect, who is now in custody, was subdued by people in the nightclub.
This is our home, this is our space. We come here to just enjoy ourselves, and this happens. Apparently I'm not even gonna say that, but I lost friends.
Gardaí have seized cocaine, firearms and ammunition during a search operation in Finglas in Dublin. The drugs are valued at just over €200,000 and were seized during a search at a residential complex. Gardaí also seized 2 firearms, an assault rifle and a machine pistol with silencer, as well as a quantity of ammunition. Further items, including sealed, pre-rolled cannabis joints and mixing agents, were also seized by Gardaí. No arrests have been made at this time and investigations are ongoing. Turkey has launched deadly airstrikes over northern regions of Syria and Iraq, targeting what the Turkish government describes as Kurdish groups responsible for last week's bomb attack in Istanbul. It comes as a spokesperson for the Syrian Democratic Forces said that 2 villages heavily populated with displaced people were under Turkish bombardment. He said the strikes had resulted in deaths and injuries. Carers who qualify for Carers Support Grant are due to get a bonus once-off payment of €500 this week. It's one of the measures to deal with the spiralling cost of living announced in the September budget. The maximum rate of carers allowance is also due to go up €12 from January. And finally, for now, a syndicate of 47 people from County Mayo is due at National Lottery headquarters in Dublin this afternoon to collect their winnings. The group scooped the Daily Million top prize last month. Their ticket was bought just outside Castle Bar on October 3rd. The National Lottery will host a reception for the winners today.
For car insurance, van insurance or home insurance, call the Quote Devil. Unless, of course, you've got money to burn.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. A very good morning to you at home, or if you're indeed streaming online on the player. We're coming to you live here from Kiltiernan on the Dublin-Wicklow border. This morning we're down here at the Ski Club of Ireland, and hopefully once the rain clears up, because it's lashing out of the heavens here at the moment, we're going to be hopefully hitting the piece right across the morning. Anyway, let's take an opening look at weather together now with Conan Doyle on cameras, and we do have that heavy band, that system of rain now tracking across the island. It is clearing out in behind to the west into parts of western Munster, but really across the eastern half of the country, some very, very heavy rain out there this morning, so do be mindful if you're out and about, backed by those fresh to strong, locally gusty southeasterly winds. We're getting hit pretty hard now right across this afternoon. In fact, it's a pretty decent one in store as that rain clears through Connacht into the southwest, but elsewhere we will see plenty of well scattered showers and some of that rain again on the heavy side, with an ongoing risk of spot flooding out there today. Towards the back end of the day, then those winds veering to a westerly direction, taking their foot off the pedal ever so slightly, in top valleys of about 7 to 12 degrees. Finally then, tonight we're going to kick off with some well-scattered showers. It will clear out though with some patchy mist. A taster of frost and fog as well to feed its way into your Tuesday morning. We'll have quite a cold, chilly night in store for some parts as well, with values back to freezing to 5 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in a very wet Kiltiernan on the Dublin-Wicklow border at the moment. We'll catch you again back live at 7:35.
For first-time drivers, young drivers, returning drivers, if you've had an open claim or have had too many penalty points.
The quote devil's always got one hell of a quote.
Now, good morning, and here we're going to start with from exploitation and corruption to the discrimination of LGBTQI+ laws. A dark shadow certainly hangs over the Qatar World Cup.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the most contentious World Cups we have seen. After the break, we're going to be reviewing yesterday's opener and previewing today's matches, of course, looking at the rugby and the football and all sorts. That's coming up after this short break.
Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We're going to start with the Irish Times. Its headline, wealthy countries to pay trillions of euro in COP27 deal. An historic global agreement at the COP27 climate summit is expected to generate trillions of euro for climate vulnerable countries, with wealthy states, including the world's biggest carbon emitters, making payments for loss and damage caused.
Staff in line for payout if firms unfairly refuse remote work. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. Employers face having to compensate workers with up to 4 weeks' pay if they do not give adequate consideration to their personal situations when dealing with requests for remote working.
The Examiner leads with Ukrainians here to top 70,000 by year end. The number of Ukrainians seeking accommodation in Ireland will exceed 70,000 before the end of the year, with an additional 11,500 due to arrive here in the next 6 weeks, according to the government.
The Mirror goes with woman killed in falling branch horror. A farmer lay dead on her own land for more than 24 hours after she was pinned by a falling tree branch.
And our thoughts are with Mary O'Shea's family today. It's such a sad story. The Sun leads with crash teen may never walk again. A girl of 16 who was in the back seat of a car stolen by Dale Fogarty may be left in a wheelchair.
The Herald also goes to that story. Kilkenny crash teen will need more surgery.
And finally, something a bit different on the front of the Irish Daily Mail. Exercise crisis for children aged 9. Children are spending more time on mobile devices and less on their personal health as out-of-school activities plummet to 34% amongst 9-year-olds, a new study has found, which seems it's hardly as though they're choosing to stay away from that. Like, it has to be sort of parents who aren't putting them into
these are just
activities.
the things that we're going to see the backlash from COVID and lockdowns, and these are the sort of things that are happening.
Yeah, but it was falling anyway, pre-COVID anyway, I think. We might be looking at that tomorrow. But joining us to discuss the stories making the morning papers is journalist with the Irish Independent. We've got Gabby Gadfish-Gately here this morning. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. How are you? Well, listen, let's start talking about remote working. This is interesting. So if an employer doesn't give adequate consideration to somebody working at home, they could get 4 weeks' pay.
So if you feel like they didn't consider your personal circumstances when refusing your request for remote working, you might be able to take your employer to the Workplace Relations Commission and get up to 4 weeks' pay if you are found to be in the right. Now, it is not clear exactly what those personal circumstances may be. For example, maybe you've got young children, for example. But if somebody who doesn't have children, I mean, how is that fair? Maybe they just prefer to work from home because it's just easier for them.
Like, if they don't have a direct route or transport capabilities to get into work anymore, they could have given up the car during COVID.
Saving up time during commuting.
But sure, if they gave up the car, they have to get the car back. I mean, it's not up to the employer to do that, is it?
I know, but what this is saying is that if there is a viable alternative and you can work at home, they have to consider it. That's it.
Yes, but you will have a right to request remote working if you are able to do so. And if you find that your employer did not give due consideration, you will be able to take that case to the Workplace Relations Commission. Now, it's interesting because this is, of course, coming from the Minister for Enterprise, who is Taoiseach Leave Radker, who will soon be the Taoiseach. Now, he did have a remote working bill, totally separate piece of legislation.
Yes.
That's now gone. And they're taking these new rights to remote working and they're putting them in with Equality Minister Roderick O'Gorman's work-life balance bill, which will be, I suppose, enacted by December. But I suppose what the report means today is that the other significant change, I think, is that you will no longer have to work for your employer for 6 6 months or more, 12 weeks will be sufficient. So if you work for your employer for 12 weeks, you ask for right to remote working, they say no, and you feel like that's not fair, you can take a case to the Workplace Relations Commission. Now, it's interesting.
Who wants to be an employer anymore?
Well, Anne-Marie Walsh in the Irish Independent, she's spoken to experts, and they're saying that it's very unlikely, or it's quite unusual to see employees who are still with their boss, still with the company that they work for, take cases against them in the Workplace Relations Commission. It normally happens after you leave work, because of course you want to avoid that conflict.
So taking them to that commission while they're an employee, that's not going to really
You're effectively suing them, you know, like it's a really, I suppose, it's not a position that you want to find yourself in while you're still in the company.
It's funny because I think a lot of friends I know who are in roles like this, like not teachers obviously, or people who are working like at the councils or campus or anything like that.
So very professional white-collar roles. Maybe.
That sort of a thing.
Yeah.
They seem to be doing a hybrid. Like a lot of my friends are, I'm in the office today, I'm not in the office tomorrow, I'm doing this or whatever. And they seem to be making it work for them. But there has been reports in Bloomberg over the weekend, and this is, it said something like Elon Musk's war with Dublin. So because he's demanding that all Twitter workers go back into the workplace because, I don't know, he wants to watch them. And they're saying, well, there's nowhere for anyone to live in Dublin. A lot of Twitter workers have moved outside of the capital.
Yes.
So
now he has come out and he's actually backtracked on that a little bit, I think, on Twitter. He said if it's not possible, if it's literally physically not possible for you to come into work, of course you don't have to. Now, I'm sure he's going to read the Indo today, he's going to be quaking in his boots, Elon Musk. But it just shows, I suppose, this stance the government is taking on the right to request remote working. And a lot of employers feel, maybe I want my staff in the office because I can see, you know, how they're working in front of me. I want to measure their productivity. I want to just stay in touch with them and see how they're feeling. And they don't want the remote working at all. So I think it's going to be interesting how it's actually going to work when it is put into practice.
Let us know, 0896 111 111, which camera. Yeah, we'd love to know. Are you working at home? Is this something that, you know, your boss wants you back in the office, but you want to stay at home? We'd love to hear from you on this, because it looks like it's all going towards the employees at the minute as opposed to the employers. So even if you're an employer, we'd love to hear from you as well. Let's move on to the next story. So COP27, looks like they've come to an agreement eventually, have they?
Yes, so they've spent, of course, days and I suppose weeks now negotiating, and what they have come up with is this loss and damage fund, which is going to be trillions of euro from those wealthy countries to compensate the poorer countries for the damage they're suffering as a result of climate change. So we did hear Taoiseach Micheál Martin talking about, for example, Pakistan being one of those poorer countries. They're seeing, you know, horrendous floods. They're seeing people's lives lost as a result of, you know, climate change that really is caused by the really wealthy countries in the global north. So I suppose it's not really clear how much Ireland is going to contribute to this fund, if anything at all. Green Party leader Eamon Ryan, who has been in Egypt in recent weeks, he's saying that it's going to be industry that pays for it. So, for example, you know, your fuel, your aviation. He's also saying that we should use corporation tax to help contribute towards the fund. And so interestingly,
do the countries have money to pay this, though?
Well, they're going to have to cough it up, really. But the interesting point, I think, they've spent so much time talking about this fund and talking about compensating these poorer countries. But actually, COP didn't decide any of that at all. They just agreed on that fund, and they've agreed on a committee that's now going to go off and put in ways how exactly is the fund going to work? How is the money going to be used? Right. How much is everybody going to contribute? So, I suppose at the start of a long road, when, you know, activists will say we need action.
Are they even going to have they agreed to cut back emissions yet?
I think it's at 1.5 degrees. We're still on
the Paris Climate Accord, but we're too late to kind of deal with all of that.
But we'll just pay money there to just...
We'll pay money because we are now going to stop poorer countries from doing the sort of industry that we did to make ourselves rich. So we've got to pay them, and also they're suffering all the effects. So, listen...
Compensating them a little bit, I suppose.
I don't know.
Even though they're not calling it that.
It's absolutely mad. They're not admitting any liability on that. There's so much, it's complicated and so much in there. We're going to look at this other shock survey, we're being told. Gabby, why are Ireland so shocking?
So, of course, Ireland is not in the World Cup in Qatar, and a Ladbrokes survey has found that I think it is 12% of Irish fans, so 1 in 10 among us, are actually supporting England instead. And a third of them are afraid to admit it, so they're doing it secretly.
I'd say they are. I actually, unfortunately, pulled England in a sweepstake with my mates.
Well, there you go. You're the 1 in 10.
Yeah, I know, disgraceful, I know. But I'm actually going for Argentina. But anyway.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's who you have.
Who are you supporting?
I'm not.
All right, okay.
literally haven't even thought about it, I'm going to be
I
honest.
suppose if you're in the pub, like they are our nearest neighbour now, I think even Ladbrokes themselves have admitted it is kind of shocking to see this result given the history between the two nations. But look, I suppose a lot of Irish people would know a lot of English people. They might have relatives over there.
And they've said
League,
it's always been ABE, like anyone but England. Like, you know, that's what it
no
sort
one
of
wants
is.
to see England win it, really.
No, can
Do
you
I mean,
imagine?
have to listen to them. Yeah,
No,
absolutely
that
not.
would be great.
Like, oh God, I don't think... Anyway, let us know what you make of... Is it time, if you're supporting a Premiership club or someone in the First Division, you're like, yeah, lads, we should be supporting England. 0896 111 111. We would love to hear from you today. Our number one England supporter right here, Tommy Bowe.
1 in 10.
Gabby, sorry, from the Irish Independent. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Are you going for England?
Thanks, Gabby. Cheers to that.
No,
I'm
not
don't.
watching any of it. No.
Okay, yeah, not watching it.
Alan, what's coming up?
Thanks, Tommy. Now, coming up, we're going to meet the man who is gaining large followings online, promoting, listen to this, disappointing affirmations. Find out more after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the internet is full of positive affirmations. Do we like that, Tommy, don't we? We like our positivity. But our next guest is poking fun at them in a bid to shed light on toxic positivity.
Yeah, Dave Tarnowski is behind the Instagram account Disappointing Affirmations, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Dave. Thanks so much for joining us in New York. A nice early start for you. Listen, Disappointing Affirmations. Tell us a bit more about it. Where did the idea come from?
So I was running a couple of other meme accounts for years, and I've been talking a lot about mental health issues on them, you know, through funny different ways. And I got tired of that stuff. And then one day, just sort of idea popped in my head, posted something on one of the pages, got a good response, thought, let me set up a page like this. I never intended to come in as a counterweight for toxic positivity. But that's just what it became, you know, and all these ideas just started pouring forth, and the page is only 4 months old. It's insane how crazy it has exploded, but apparently it's meeting a need that people didn't know they had.
They need it. I was looking at some of it last night, and I was looking at some of the people sending you in questions and what you were saying to them. And I mean, do people find it sometimes that some of the answers are in bad taste?
You know, yes and no. It's, you've got people who get it and you've got people who don't. You know, you've got people who are, you know, I don't want to say they're not able to have a sense of humor about their mental illness. You know, it's like I'm bipolar. I know the crap that it makes me do. I know what happens with me. And I also have a sort of detachment from it. You know, it's like what I'm trying to do, or what I do with Disappointing Affirmations, is I sort of speak the things that people think, but don't say, you know, or like their worst positive or their worst possible fears. You know, like there was one I posted the other day. It's not imposter syndrome. You actually really do suck at everything.
Yeah, I can imagine people don't say that. They might be thinking it.
I'm thinking it, yeah.
Is it hard to keep coming up with new ones?
Oh my God, yeah. It's, I mean, I would love to say, because I mean, I've been a writer for years, that these just come from thin air, but quite often it's a challenge, and it's just getting the wording just right, you know, so that it lands the right way.
And you mentioned there you have had your own struggles, and you suffer with ADHD. You say you had bipolar, but you're getting treatment for that now. And it's amazing that people are asking you then on the site, are you happy now and you won't be giving us all this negativity?
Yeah, that was definitely something that was funny, because it's just like, I'm like, okay, I'm happy, but I'm never quite happy, you know? Yeah. I'm never one of those people who's just like, hey, guys, how's it going?
Have a great day.
So it's like, I'm not sure how to deal with happiness at all times, you know? It's like, so it's been a crazy process over the past few months, And I've certainly had moments where I've just been like, oh my shit, this is not going to end well. I'm going to run out, it's going to be stuff like that. And it's,
David, as well, like you talk about things like depression and bipolar you just mentioned, and they're serious topics, and some people really, really struggle with these. And do you make light of it in a way with some of these affirmations? Like, do people get kind of upset about them, or is that not your intention?
No, that's totally not my intention. One thing that I always think about, thank you, about bringing up making light. The way I say it is making light is shining light. What I ultimately want to do, because these things, at the end of the day, these are positive affirmations. They're just cloaked in, nihilism or realistic or realism or sarcasm. But they are, I think, more positive than something that's just saying, you can do it, you got this, and it's just this empty, positive mental attitude thing. It's just like, who can keep that up?
But Dave, can I just say too, there'll be a lot of people watching the show this morning who do not rely on it, but are very much into the positive affirmations and feel that it works for them and it helps them get through a day. And if they're positive at the start of the day, they can stay positive. So what do you say to them?
Great. Keep doing it.
If it works for you.
If it works for you, it works for you. I will never say, nothing is for everyone, right? The Beatles sold how many million records? There are still people who never have heard of them. It's a large world out there.
Yeah. Whereas, and listen, you're doing the job. Like, was it so many hundreds of thousands of followers in only just a couple of months as well? Obviously, you're doing something right. Dave Tarnowski, of course, from Disappointing Affirmations. Thanks so much for getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning over in New York.
Thank you. I really hope I was coherent.
Yeah, you were indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great one.
Now, to have a look at. Muireann's always very positive in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
And when Muireann comes in the morning, it's always positivity.
She's like our positive affirmation every morning.
Look at her over there. What's coming up, Muireann?
Listen, we'll be dead soon. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Is that positive enough for you?
Will you stop it?
I'm joking. It is all about being positive, certainly in the morning time. And still to come, a wonderful human who's going to make us feel positive about life and the world around us, Dr. Aoibhinn Ní Shúilleabháin, on Ireland's biodiversity and what we can do to help it. Plus, Abbyfeale in County Limerick has come up with an extremely novel way to promote the local amenities by getting members of the community to pose nude for a charity calendar. Can you get more positive? Look at them. In the local area, you can go and visit those bars. If you want to get nude, go for it. It'll be fine. You don't want to miss. We'll be back with you on Ireland AM very shortly. Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline, wealthy countries to pay trillions of euro in COP27 deal. An historic global agreement at the COP27 climate summit is expected to generate trillions of euro for climate vulnerable countries, with wealthy states, including the world's biggest carbon emitters, making payments for loss and damage caused.
Staff in line for payout if firms unfairly refuse remote work. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. Employers face having to compensate workers with up to 4 weeks' pay if they do not give adequate consideration to their personal situations when dealing with requests for remote working.
The Examiner leads with Ukrainians here to top 70,000 by year end. The number of Ukrainians seeking accommodation in Ireland will exceed 70,000 before the end of the year, with an additional 11,500 due to arrive here in the next 6 weeks. That's according to the government.
Mayor goes with woman killed in falling branch horror. A farmer lay dead on her own land for more than 24 hours after she was pinned by a falling tree branch.
And as we mentioned, our thoughts are with Mary O'Shea and her family this morning. It's awful. The Sun leads with crash teen may never walk again. A girl of 16 who was in the back seat of a car stolen by Dale Fogarty may be left in a wheelchair.
The Herald also goes with Kilkenny crash teen will need more surgery.
And finally, something a bit different, exercise crisis for children aged 9. Children are spending more time on mobile devices and less on their personal health as out-of-school activities plummet to 34% amongst 9-year-olds. A study has found that is the top story on the Daily Mail this morning.
Frightening.
Now,
a lot of texts coming in about working from home, Alan.
Yes, like you were saying earlier on, and Mary has a very interesting point on this. This working from home lark is ridiculous. Up until the pandemic, the majority went into work. Now everybody wants to work from home. Some do very little. I think it's as bad as the neighbour seems when you spend all her day in her pyjamas and getting her shopping delivered. She just doesn't want to work. Thank you for that rant, Mary.
Now, this is following a course.
I'm sure lots of people who work from home do want to work and they don't want to spend their day in their pyjamas.
They could probably work in their pyjamas if they want to do the job. Because this is it. So staff are in line for payout if firms unfairly refuse remote work. So if you want to work from home, you can go to your employer and ask. But if they don't give you adequate consideration, you can get up to 4 weeks worth of pay.
And this is only after 12 weeks of working with the company.
You see, this is new legislation and we don't exactly know how it's going to work.
Well, I don't know if it's going to work, to be honest with you, the way that's going. Yeah,
exactly. A message here that says this new legislation will hopefully give the likes of Twitter workers a stronger fighting position when dealing with tyrannical bosses like Elon Musk.
What, because he wants them to come back into the office?
Oh, you standing up for Elon Musk. This is all I need today. Welcome back, everybody. He's a lovely guy.
He's just saying he wants everybody back in the office, is he not?
What if you can't afford to essentially, there's nowhere to live in Dublin? What are you going to do?
Job.
So just get a new job. That's it. Bye.
No, Tommy, you can't just get a new job.
Just
but
go.
I do understand, like, there are circumstances where, look, you can't move to Dublin and you can't you can't just try and get a place.
What if there were so many things during COVID about productivity being up with people working from home?
But obviously, like we're seeing with tech at the minute, the amount of layoffs, that's obviously showing that it's not. They're not having the same...
Well, no, they overhired by 30%. They hired 30%.
They were making so much money at the time.
They overhired.
And now they realise that...
Well, their projections were insane. So they hired 30% of their workforce was hired last year by Facebook. Anyway, lovely to have him back. He loves Elon Musk. He's such a nice guy. He's one of his best friends.
Oh, she gets wound up awfully easy.
I do, yeah.
It's great.
So annoying. After the break, something a little bit different. We're going to be chatting with Dr. Aoibhinn Ní Shúilleabháin, and she'll be talking to us about the challenges around climate in this country and biodiversity especially. Stay with us very shortly. So stay on the
It's great to have you back. Following the announcements that came from COP27, climate change is very much at the forefront of people's minds.
And someone who's hoping to shed a little bit more light on what we can do to help is Dr. Aoibhinn Ní Shúilleabháin, Aoibhinn Ní Shúilleabháin, as she prepares to chair the Citizens' Assembly on biodiversity loss, which is coming up very shortly. Good morning, Aoibhinn. How are you?
Great, thank you very much.
Right, so can we first of all, the difference between biodiversity and climate change, there's a huge difference.
There is a massive difference, yeah. And I know it's morning and it's Monday and I don't want anybody to be depressed or panic. But while the climate crisis is certainly something that we all as a planet need to be worrying about, biodiversity actually underpins that one again. So if we lose biodiversity, that basically means that the soils aren't going to be healthy enough to produce food. We're going to lose pollinators, which means we're not going to be, again, able to produce food. Biodiversity loss impacts our access to fresh water, to clean air. So while climate change is a crisis, because we don't want to have to live with the extreme weather dynamics and flooding and everything like that, biodiversity is really, really fundamental to us as humans. And so it's something that, again, I don't want people to be panicking over their cornflakes, but it's just something to keep in mind. And it's something that can be changed and we can impact it. But our Citizens' Assembly on Biodiversity Loss has been working since April to learn everything we can about the crisis, the emergency. And to now, next weekend, we'll be doing our final debate and voting on our recommendations that we will give to government.
Wow.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
You got all that?
So what is biodiversity?
Right, and this is something that I'm not an expert in, and when I was invited to chair the Citizens' Assembly, I said I'm not the right person for the job because I don't know enough about this. But they assured me that my job as chair was to make sure that the 99 randomly selected people from across the country make sure that they were as informed as possible. So I've done that. So in my understanding now, I would describe biodiversity as everything that you can think of in nature, but recognising that they're all interconnected. So while it's very sad, you might think that, oh gosh, we're losing that species of bee or we're losing that species of bird, it's actually more than sad, because losing one piece of the jigsaw means the rest of it can't fit together. So if we lose some bees, that actually means that we can't pollinate, which means that the plants can't grow, which means that we're not going to get certain amounts of foods and things like that. And what you see in your screen now is the 5 main threats to biodiversity. So climate change is one of the main threats to biodiversity, and also changing in land use, pollution, obviously, invasive species that are coming in, again, because of climate change. So the biodiversity is like thinking about nature as a massive interconnected jigsaw, but if we lose bits of it, it means we're at danger. And just to take an example of that, like in parts of America now, they have to bus bees basically from one part of the country to another because they've lost their biodiversity and they've no way of pollinating. So they have to transport bees down to a place like that. It would be a crying shame if our beautiful country, our green island, if we had to get to that place, but we're on our way there. So what the Citizens' Assembly is doing now is to try and give government actions that they can take now so we don't get to that space.
So this is a huge job. Like, it's a huge job because, as you say, it's all connected, but we are losing our biodiversity and we've got invasive, like Japanese knotweed is all over places like Cardanial, and then, you know, with red squirrels and grey squirrels and native squirrels, all of that sort of stuff. So what is it that you, like, will the Citizens' Assembly have an effect? Will these 99 people that you are chairing, when you make your recommendations, do you believe the government are going to listen?
I do believe, because we have a great history of citizens' assemblies in Ireland. I mean, you'll remember back that, you know, our marriage equality vote, the referendum on the 8th Amendment, we just had our gender equality citizens' assembly, and that is coming through the Dáil at the moment. There might be a referendum on that to take out the reference to women's place being in the home. So citizens' assemblies in Ireland have made for great change. And actually, there was a Citizens' Assembly on climate change in 2015, and that led to the Climate Bill and Climate Acts that came through last year. So while the change might be slower than is necessary, change does happen with citizens' assemblies. And Ireland can be really proud of that, because citizens' assemblies are a great tool for democracy. Because what you're doing with the citizens' assembly is you're taking in people, random people from all walks of life, and you can see the room there. There's everybody from a Leaving Cert student all the way up to a 92-year-old in that room, asking questions, deliberating, coming up with it. And it's one of the most exciting environments you can be in. Like, it's a privilege for me to chair it. But this is where it's the mehel. It's an Irish mehel. People are coming together. These 99 people have said, I'm willing to give up 6 weekends of my time for the, you know, to do this work for the rest of the country, because that's what the government asks us to do. And I really hope now that the recommendations that we publish will be impactful, because it's for the benefit of everybody else.
And do you have specialists then?
Yes.
So explaining.
Yeah. Oh no, we'd have to have
because
that.
I was thinking, if there's a bunch of them going, yeah, no, I think I don't want to cut the grass today. But I mean, so there are specialists there explaining some both sides of it though as well.
Absolutely.
Because when you have COP going on, and the fact that the government leader still can't agree on stuff. So it's not just as simple. It's not as black and white as people might think.
And this is the thing. Nothing in this is black and white. It's all very complicated. And we have to come up with compromises, because if we're asking people to give up what they've been doing for generations, which they thought was the right thing to do, we have to bring compromises into it.
This is in relation to the farming community.
Some of it, and peatlands as well, and forestry and things like that. But however, when we say this with the farming community, like, I'm from rural Ireland, 7 of my uncles are farmers. Farmers are not the baddies. Farmers are the custodians of the land. And when we were learning about all of the stuff in relation to agriculture, in my mind I was going, but that's what my granddad did. You know, changing the land use around, having a mixed, you know, farming of crops and livestock and things like that. So it's actually going back to the old ways. And it's not farmers' fault either, because they have been asked for, you know, over a decade now to produce. But that's been really bad for the environment and our water and our soil health. So it's actually just to go back to the things that we always did very well. But what we did with that is we've had the scientists in, we've had experts to tell us, you know, what are they doing well internationally. We had farmers in. We had one day where we had 9 different farmers, you know, tillage farmers, farmers who were purely organic, cattle and sheep farmers, hill farmers, the dairy farmers. We had them all in, because the Citizens' Assembly is a great space for people to air their views and be respected for that, and to also then be listened to. So it's all about getting a compromise. It'd be very simple if things were black and white, but they're not. And that's why it's taken us 6 months to do this work.
I think it's amazing what you do with the platform that you have created for yourself? That from everything that you've done for 17 years now, you have really been educating. It's fantastic. I'm just wondering at times.
Very nice of you, Erin.
But
Thank you.
Like, you do. Every time I hear you, you're teaching me something new.
We're red together.
We had a memo.
But as someone with, and I'm just wondering, and I hope this isn't too, but as someone with 2 kids, and this is the area that you work in, sometimes do you ever find yourself spiraling and thinking about the huge task that is ahead of us and what world really... Because sometimes I find myself freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't think about this anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's so huge.
It is, and you can get into a panic. And I was even only having a conversation with my husband last week, who's just like, what's wrong? I'm just like, all of this, it's so depressing.
Yes.
But then you just have to take a moment.
Okay.
Because it's just a matter of us working together on this, but equally individually. If everybody is making their own changes in their own lives, that is as much as you can do. Now, I have a platform and I get to use that, and that's great, and I will. But everyone else, if you're doing as much as you can do, and maybe influencing the sphere around you, that is all that everyone can ask for. So in terms of biodiversity, I would say to people, join a local community group. It might be a cleanup group or a garden group, or start one. I started one in our own estate just for cleanups, and the kids love it. They absolutely love doing that. And it makes you proud of your environment if you're helping, make it look nicer. You can plant pollinator plants in your garden or in your boxes, and you can sign up to allirelandplan.ie, and there's loads of things individuals can do in that. Try and reduce your carbon footprint as much as you can. I now cycle to work every day. It's not a thing I ever thought I would do. So if everyone is doing their own individual bit, you can't panic. But at the same time, let's all try and work together to make sure that we're not the species that actually, bring our own demise around. Yeah.
It's really good, because I just think climate change is such a big thing. It is overwhelming for people, but biodiversity is something that everybody can have such a small little impact.
Yeah.
All those little dominoes together will work in the right direction.
Help the insects and the birds around you.
Very interesting. Good on you. The chair. Listen. Yes. I mean, it's amazing. Congratulations
Thanks,
with that,
guys. Thanks for having us on.
and best of luck with putting together the recommendations with the Oireachtas coming up very shortly. We really look forward to hearing how it goes for you.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Brian.
Inspired by nature, powered by light. Becco Harvest Fresh sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
I'm delighted that we've got a bit of cooking on now, Alan.
Yeah, Derek had a little mishap in weather. We'll talk about that in a little later on. So stay tuned for that.
It's very wet and miserable out there, to be fair.
You would be going, flip it.
One of those mornings.
Yeah, and now Tommy has his stretchy pants on because we're making a cheesy pasta dish.
Sinead Delahunty, good morning.
How are we doing?
Great to have you with us.
Great stuff. Well, we're in the dry, we're in the warmth here now, so we're making something really comforting this morning. So a lovely cheesy chicken and pasta bake is what I have on the menu. So I've just softened down some leeks here. So just full of vibrant colour, really easy vegetable to have, and they soften down lovely.
I don't think I've ever bought a leek in my life.
What?
Yeah.
I was
you
telling
need to get out.
I made this yesterday.
With leeks?
A chicken and leek pie, yeah. It was gorgeous, yeah.
With loads of creamy sauce.
Creamy sauce, yeah. It was lovely, really, really nice.
So simple.
I know, but leek, yeah. And you just, when you buy it like that, do you just chop it and then put it into a pan or something?
Yeah, you just kind of take the outer kind of layer off, give it a little kind of rub, and probably there might be a bit of soil or, a bit of dirt on it. Just rub that off and then thinly slice. Listen, it all adds up, doesn't it?
How much of the top do you take off? Do you know, the sprouty bits?
Yeah, it'll depend, I suppose, on how fresh your leek is, know. But definitely you want to cut down probably not a third, but maybe a quarter.
How do you know when it's fresh?
Just
by the look of it.
Yeah, it'll look dried out,
it's
or
not
it's not.
green or something, or it is green.
Yellow, maybe.
It's not yellow. It's green.
Brown.
So I've just added in the chicken, and I'm literally just browning off the chicken, so I don't want it going golden or anything like that. So just a gentle browning is all we need.
Okay.
And then I'm going to make a lovely kind of a green sauce, essentially. So I've got spinach here. I'm adding in some parsley, and again, use all the stalk and all. You don't have to be breaking the parsley off.
Not very healthy. Yum.
Coriander, mint, whatever really herbs you have at home. Softer herbs rather than a woody herb will work better in this. And then I'm putting in some cottage cheese. Again, you could use yogurt or ricotta if you had that left over, or even just some cream cheese would work perfect for that.
Clever, yeah. No, I didn't do this now. This was nice.
So what did you put in yours?
I had some stock and some cream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But we had lemon as well. Yeah, that's
a
good.
little bit of lemon juice. And get the zest in there as well, if you fancy. And then I'm just going to get a little bit of water just in there as well, just so we get a nice loose sauce. And then I'm going to blend this down. So again,
so handy, these little blenders,
they're
aren't they?
brilliant. You know, you'll find them everywhere. I personally find them.
Whatever,
yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you can do your chopping in that as well. You know, they're really, really handy.
So is this your sauce?
This is the sauce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it just pulses it all down.
So instead of having a really buttery, creamy sauce with loads of calories, this is a sort of healthier
It's a nice way
option.
to squeeze, you know, veg in as well.
Yeah.
You know, because that's, I suppose, we're always trying to get our vegetables in, get our coloured, you know, into our diet. So it's just a really easy way. And again, you don't have to worry about the chicken being fully cooked because I've got the oven on. It's going to cook through in the
How
oven.
long do you bake it for?
So 20 minutes at 180. So I've just got some pasta here. This is pre-cooked. But what I have done is just left a little bit of the pasta water there. So I've drained off some of it, but some of the water is still there. You know, it's always what you want to do when you're making any kind of a pasta sauce.
Does it matter what pasta you're using?
Not at all. No. Yeah, up to you, whatever you have at home.
Wouldn't put spaghetti now, obviously. But
Listen, you could. One of my friends, she makes lasagna with spaghetti, and it is delicious.
Really?
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
It layers up the spaghetti.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. Just pop it in like you would do. Literally, she makes like kind of like spaghetti bolognese and then pots it all in to your dish and then like puts your like lovely cheesy, you know, sauce on top.
There you go.
It's so good. So then I've got my leek and my chicken in here. So again, just mixing it all through. You'll see the...
And you're just mixing that, you're not cooking it still, are you?
No, so this is all off the heat now. Yeah, we're just mixing it through just to get the colours right through.
Sure, of course, a nice breast of chicken to cook for easily in 20 minutes, wouldn't it?
That's it, and you don't want, you know, chicken dried out. There's nothing as bad. Yeah, so that's going to just, it'll cook through with the sauce inside in the oven.
I'm really excited to try the sauce. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I've got the sauce, and then we have obviously the cheesy bit I mentioned about, so a lovely topping now. So just spread that.
So you put the cheese on now before it goes in, so then it hardens up, does it?
Exactly. So for the cheese then, okay? So loads of great cheese. You know, get it in there, get your cheddar, whatever you have. If you have Parmesan, you know, at home as well. You know, anything at all, really, use it up. And then back to the cottage cheese again. Okay, so again, this could be your yogurt or your ricotta, as I said. And then I've got an egg in here as well. So the egg is just going to bind it all together.
An egg, right? I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
a bit like kind of, you know, your carbonara with your egg, that kind of vibe.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So just mix it all through.
What's this for the top?
This for the top. So again, you know, the best thing about like any kind of like comforting dish, I think, is that like you can have a little, you can have a lot, and it's nice and crispy.
So you put this
top.
over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Stick it in the oven for 20 minutes.
20 minutes at 180. And you just spread that
Go all
right.
brown and crispy, will it?
Oh yeah, so gonna wait and see now.
That looks delicious already,
Go on,
doesn't
let's
it?
get it out, Sinead.
Let's
You're
get it.
teasing
So
us, not
20
fair.
minutes into the oven, that goes in.
Into the oven. And then...
Watch your hands now, this
Gonna
one.
have to leave this one
Yeah.
down. And
Dun,
then,
dun, dun.
the big reveal. So gorgeous, crispy,
right,
golden on top. And then you've the forks and knives ready. So you're ready.
Yeah, we're ready for
Tommy
it.
has the stretchy pants on. We're good
Sure
to go.
does. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, an eggy. You can kind of see that, the like creme fraiche and the egg. the
Yeah,
top of
so
it.
just makes it gorgeous, gorgeous, crispy top.
Lovely.
Wow.
There's
one
one
for
end.
stuff. There we go, Tommy. You start on that.
Right.
And again, you could pop another little bit of cheese on top, you know, when you're serving green salad alongside it, or just as it is. And it's such a good one, you know, if you've any leftovers for the lunchbox as well. Because I was testing this out last week and I was having it every day for my lunch. And in the, like, everyone was like, "What is that? It smells so good."
Good.
You've absolutely, you've nailed it. Sinead Delahunty, thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you
stuff.
so much for joining us.
Inspired by nature, powered by light. Becco Harvest Fresh sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
Eilish. Now, coming up very shortly, Derek is going to get a lesson on skiing and maybe not saying something he shouldn't be on live telly.
But before all that, listen to this. you fancy bagging yourself a brand new car? Yes, a brand new car. Well, you're in luck, because all this week we've teamed up with Toyota Ireland to give you the chance to win a brand new Toyota Aygo Cross.
Wow, take a look at this.
We've teamed up with Toyota Ireland to give you the chance to turn heads like a celebrity in the Toyota Aygo Cross, the compact crossover built for everyday life. For your chance to win, just call or text the numbers on screen and answer the question.
Welcome back. Now, there's lots of texts coming into us this morning. We've been talking about various things, including the World Cup a little bit earlier on, gents.
Yeah, Tim has sent in a message. This World Cup is a disgrace. I can't believe the players who wear the One Love armband will get a yellow card. FIFA have said to leave politics out of it and focus on the football, but then they punish players when they have done nothing wrong in the game. It shows how rotten this World Cup is. Yeah, very interesting to see that.
FIFA are a disgrace now to be allowed doing that. You should be allowed to do... I know that they're sort of saying, let's not bring politics into it, but...
But they've brought politics into it.
They've brought politics into it by holding it. Holding it in Qatar in the first place.
Gay people and women can't be who they are.
It's an absolute joke. And Jane said, absolutely ridiculous. This is another thing where they've banned the alcohol, but all the VIPs who are in the stadium can drink what they want. It's a drink for free in the stadium. It's but been banned for fans who spent a fortune just to get there. Then outside the stadium, €13 for a pint. Daylight robbery.
The hospitality boxes. So if you have a hospitality box, you can get all your free drink, but no one else can.
It is definitely a society where there's different rules for everyone, very unequal. 0896 111 111. We'd love to hear from you this morning. That will be on WhatsApp, which will be free. But here in studio, we've got a swear jar here inside the studio. There's nothing in it because we never swear inside the studio.
We never swear, but there is a person who was swearing earlier on. He's on the slopes, and we've put some money in the swear jar.
We're going to have to put some money in the swear jar.
Everything's okay now at your end, Derek.
Oh, lads, we're just having one of those mornings. I got dragged up the slope, then I fell down the slope, and it is lashing out of the heavens. So, apologies for earlier on, especially to small little ears. Anyway, we're joined here on the slopes now, down in Kiltiernan on the Dublin-Wicklow border. Ski Club of Ireland. Tara, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh, Tara, what a morning we're having.
Well, where else would you be on a Monday morning in beautiful weather?
Absolutely. Now, tell us about the Ski Club of Ireland.
Ski Club of Ireland is up here. We're on the border of Dublin and Wicklow. We've got about 100 instructors. We run lessons 7 days a week. We teach people from the age of 7 right up to any age. I mean, our eldest instructor here is 84.
You were telling me that earlier. Yeah, 84. And not a bother.
Yeah, I mean, skiing's a real family sport. It's a bit like tennis. You can play it pretty much until you drop dead. But no, it's a really good family sport, and we've got great kinder classes up here. But we also do lots of classes for advanced skiers, intermediates. So yeah.
And you had a bit of a breather, obviously, with COVID. Things slowed down a good bit for you, didn't they?
Yeah, the last 2 years we had a few closures, but once we had once society started to open up a bit, skiing is perfect kind of COVID sport. You're not supposed to ski very close to anybody. It's outdoors. You're up in the mountains here, so it's actually quite safe. So we were able to get out sooner than a lot of other sports.
Now, Mark, you're just back from Tyrol in Austria. How was that experience?
It was great. We went to Hintertux, so we brought a group of the ski club race team over to train over Austria racing camp in Hintertux, and yeah, it was really good. The conditions were amazing. We had like 5 days of kind of blue skies, really good conditions up on the glacier, so the kids were able to train slalom, GS, even some Super G, and then we had 45 centimeters of fresh snow on the Friday, so we kind of finished with a powder day, which was really good.
Beautiful powder day. How long are you skiing now, Jane?
I've been skiing since I was 4, so a good 12 years.
Good 12 years, and one day you're hoping to do what?
Well, I'm trying to compete in the international FIS races, and then maybe lead on to the Olympics, but I'll see where it takes me, see how I perform in the international FIS races, I competed in the U16s, international races, but the FIS is just a step up with competing at all ages. So, yeah.
You're enjoying it. Hopefully one day you'll get to represent Ireland. And Tara, like, I've been watching the guys come down the slopes here this morning. Pretty fast conditions, and in fact, rain actually helps them on the slopes.
Yeah, when it's not raining, we have a misting system which kind of shoots out jets of water to keep it running fast. But on a morning like today, it's running fast by itself, just with Mother Nature. Yeah.
There's no fear of that. Okay, we're going to get a little snowboarding lesson here. So what do I need to do, basically?
Well, you just keep stay upright on the board, yeah, and we'll just make some space for you. You ready to go? I'll just take the microphone from you.
Give that to you
okay.
Okay, you got that. Okay, so basically, right, all right, here we go. So basically, what am I doing?
You're just going to try and get back up on the board. David will help you there.
Okay, come on, David.
Yeah, you've done this before. Yeah, and then just point down towards towards Conan.
Yeah.
And just try and keep your balance. Yeah,
okay,
try and
3,
keep your balance.
2,
there we go. Fantastic, brilliant.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Back to you guys in the studio.
Brilliant. Amazing. Well done.
Oh, we're on the baby slopes. Happy Monday.
Thank you.
There we go. Gravila, thank you so much. There we go. Woo!
Well done.
Done. Well done.
Baby slopes. Perfect. Well done, guys.
What doesn't that
He's
man
delighted.
do for this show?
Telling
Oh,
you.
he's great.
Love
I
it.
mean, miserable out there it is.
Yeah.
Like, the rain is belting off the
Yeah.
roof here, and it's the same in most parts of the country this morning.
I think he spoke for all of Ireland this morning when he misspoke a little bit while when you woke up and you saw what it was like outside. Derek, we adore you. Thank you so much, my love. Still to come, we're looking at must-have coats in fashion.
We'll be trying to predict who's going to win the coveted crown in I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here.
Yes, and we're going to be meeting the West Limerick locals who are raising awareness about their town by getting naked.
Ooh.
Yes, you want to see it. That's coming up after the break.
Poor Derek's having a bit of a morning, isn't he? She's having a bit of a morning down there in Kilturnan, all right.
Nothing you can do about signal, God bless him. It's not a great morning.
We're going to be talking I'm a Celeb very shortly, Al.
Yes.
Yes.
And a lot of people have been in touch with us that have been loving it, and they're saying, James says, my prediction to win this year is Mike Tyndall.
Yeah.
And I think he's coming across great. But as a PR exercise, it certainly looks like it's paid off for Matt Hancock.
I can't believe he's still in it.
I can't believe, like, he's 2 have gone and he's still there.
Still in
and
there.
people are voting for him, obviously. Yeah. And everybody thought he would be the first out.
But wasn't Scarlett and Charlene have been voted out. I thought they'd come across quite
They
well.
did come across.
They were really nice.
They were really nice. They came across really well.
Scarlett was kind of strong with him and everything.
They thought that she was going to make it
asking
to
him
the final.
about breaking restrictions and everything like that. But there's obviously people in the UK who are going, yeah, fair play to him. Let's keep him in.
Well,
I don't understand it myself.
We'll talk with Brian Lloyd. I'm sure he'll have an interesting thought on it as well. We're also talking about the World Cup and talking about the controversy over there. Edward said, with so much controversy surrounding the Qatar World Cup, it could see reputations in tatters come the end of it. Curious to see if David Beckham comes away from it unscathed. And he was, right up at the top. Queuing up to go and see the Queen Mother, whatever else. But seeing him over there in Qatar,
What's he doing?
Well, he's like an ambassador for the World
ambassador
Cup.
for it.
And he's been really vocal on gay rights and everything else. And then for him, he's been a complete ambassador. He was there at the opening ceremony yesterday. It'd be really interesting to see how he comes out of it.
But a lot of people have taken, the Queen shilling or whatever you want to call it, in relation to this. And for years, we had performers who were taking money from the Qatari royal family, and then when it went into the public domain, they donated to charity.
Yeah.
But look, it's always going to happen if sponsors keep paying the money.
Of course.
And that's the thing. And big sponsors, they're the ones who should be taking the responsibility on these international events. Like, they should not go to countries like Qatar. But if you have big sponsors willing to put up the money, it's going to go.
And because they know eyeballs, William, and Douglas did the exact same thing. No players have boycotted the World Cup. No countries have boycotted it either. And yet, all we're sat here moaning about the human rights, but it's the sponsors and the media that are supporting it.
It shouldn't be up to the players
Anyway,
or the country. To be honest, it shouldn't be up to the players. They're going
We're
to
going to
play
have a bit of a laugh coming up after the break, because we're looking at the Abbyfeale rugby team here. Who didn't pose naked, lads? That's what we're all want to know.
And Tommy's getting his kid off.
He sure is not.
Wow, you want to get those... Is that going to put the ratings down or up? I don't know what's going to do it.
Tell all your friends, Tommy Bell's getting his kid off in 3 minutes.
You're very welcome back. Let's do a bit of fun. The people of Abbyfeale in County Limerick have been leaving nothing to the imagination with the revealing new calendar.
Absolutely, here to talk about raising awareness of their community. It's calendar organisers and models Aoife, Keogh and Noreen Cotter. Ladies, good morning. It's lovely to have you here.
Great to be here.
I feel like, as someone who has driven through Abbyfeale for most of her life, I've never seen more of the town than I have this morning with these fabulous pictures.
Yeah.
I stop all the... As I was saying, I got my communion dress in Abbyfeale. Now, come here. Can you tell Aoife, tell us about the idea behind this calendar, because you managed to get people nude.
We did. So I suppose Abbyfeale has gone through a bit of a rough time over the last few years, and a lot of the businesses had to close, and the town was just on a bit of a lull. And the Greenway has come to Abbyfeale, 2 Greenways actually, and we just see that as a kind of a hope for the town, and maybe that it could bring some business for the town. So we wanted to get people talking, and we figured, sure, why not? Just get everybody to take their clothes off, and then everybody will start talking about Abbyfeale and know about Abbyfeale.
How did
it certainly worked.
And the pictures are fab. They're really... And Noreen, you're in one of the pictures as well.
Yeah.
How much convincing did you need to...
I suppose the first 1 or 2 photos were probably the harder ones to do. Like the front cover of the calendar is kind of a take on the Beatles, the Abbey Road.
Yeah.
So that was taken on the Sunday of the August Bank Holiday weekend at 6:30 in the morning. So I was actually further down the road with a red flag, stopping traffic to make sure. Well, the 4 of them, and they were amazing. You know, I have to say, the 5 of them, Marion is in it as well. They were just super. They just rocked on, and some of them had dressing gowns on and just
stripped off.
Yeah,
and away they went.
In the middle of the town.
In the middle of the town, yeah.
So once you kind of convinced, you got 1 or 2 pictures done.
And then we were in, Aoife and myself were in the December one, which was
the ladies who lunch.
Yeah, ladies who lunch at kind of the hotel, just to get the idea that we have restaurants and, you know, the hotel places to socialise and mix with people and stuff. So once we were in that, then everybody kind of went off. Like, you know what? It's not that, you know, difficult to do. It was done very tastefully. It was in a controlled environment. I suppose there was a trust built up between the people and the photographers. So little by little, then it started to, you know, trickle out.
Were you all like ringing around each other, going, "Okay, do you have the legs shaved? Like, what are we doing? What are you bringing? Are you bringing your good dressing gowns so that we can
just... That was just the men.
Actually, I was drafted into that. I was supposed to be in a different photo, and Noreen rang me and she said, "The photo's happening in like 15 minutes. Yeah. Can you come down?" So I'm the only one there that's shining white with no fake tan on.
And you're stunning.
No time to shave the legs.
But also the community came together in this, because you're saying an awful lot of people, you know, they wouldn't have known each other before, but they decided to do this. Because there is another reason for this. You're drawing attention to a town like Abbyfeale, which was huge. It was a huge market town, and like so many other towns, they have been kind of decimated. Has a bit of it, Noreen, come back? You know, we heard about people during COVID, like moving home. Did that happen with Abbyfeale?
Yeah, a little. It definitely has. I think when COVID hit, I think people realised that local is important and community is everything.
Yeah.
You know, so people were very supportive. Like, we opened a shop in Abbyfeale on Shuppa Milshawn. There was a sweet shop originally in Abbyfeale, and sadly the owner died in December 2020. And then Bank of Ireland pulled out after that. You know, it just seemed to be like a negative spiral.
Yeah.
And 2 friends of ours who are also primary school teachers came to myself and my husband and said, "Can we do something?" So we opened a sweet shop, and we called it on ShuppaMilshawn.ie. And it is, and then we launched the website, and the calendars are on sale and that. So bit by bit,
community spirit.
Yeah, people are rallying, and they're realising, do you know what, we have stuff in the town, and we need to believe in ourselves.
So
you know?
many rural villages and towns all over the country have been decimated.
Yeah.
How many people took part in it?
So there's 101 or 2. The jury's out. The photographer is in the background of one. So over 100 people came together from all parts of the community. The youngest, I think, was like maybe 19 or 20, and the oldest is in her 80s. And
like, it's amazing. Like, but do you think if you were to do it again, would more people like?
Absolutely,
100%.
Really, so it's created a real buzz. Actually, everybody's
and actually, some people are saying, "Why wasn't I asked?" Do you know, like, and it's just. Yeah,
there's a new revenue stream for nudism going on in Abbyfeale as well. I'm telling you, there'll be something that goes on. Now, one that I absolutely adore, and there's stories behind them all. You know, you're highlighting the Greenway, you're highlighting the gorgeous local park, all that kind of stuff. But a couple got nude for ye on their way. They went off and they got secretly married, Violetta and Daniel.
That's right.
Do you want to tell them about that?
I'll tell them that story. That's just a brilliant story. So we were looking for a couple that would, say, do a mock wedding, that we could get as many businesses wedding-related into the one picture.
So the barbers, the beauticians,
the hotel, the florists, everything. So we approached this couple. They were just after getting engaged, and we said, you know, would you be up for it or whatever? So they went away and they chatted about it, and they came back the following day and they said, you know, we're going to get married anyway. We want it to be just the two of us. So we're going to get married in secret. The morning that we do the shoot, we won't tell anybody. And when you launch the calendar, then we'll announce that we got married. So that happened. So they got married. And then they came onto the Greenway and they stood with actually the groom's brother is in the picture and the bride's sister and the groom's dad. So they were all helping with this picture, but they didn't know anything about the wedding.
Right, so and they all got to see each other up close. That'll be interesting for Christmas dinner, won't it? What about the rugby team then? So who does... It's great to see them up on horseback, the whole lot.
I know.
Did they all take part? Like,
do you not do rugby like that?
Well, it looks like the shower.
I mean, Abbyfeale,
normally that'd be the shower situation, but not. Sorry, yes. But I'd say there was a lot of people though. Like, there's a self-consciousness as well.
Yeah.
And like, is it good for kind of body positivity for people actually who are a bit conscious and actually just bearing all and realise, you know, we're all individuals, we're all a bit different, and get out there and show off your bits.
Yeah. And I think as people got older, I think it's not that you care less, but you are like less self-conscious or something, and you know.
So did you find the younger ones weren't quite as keen?
Yeah, they kind of found it a bit harder to do. I think.
You can take that as a tagline next year. Tommy Bow says, "Show off your bits, everybody." Now I know that some of the proceeds, half the proceeds of this, are obviously going back into the town to support the town and everything, but are going to the Irish Cancer Society, and there are people involved in this who had lost people to cancer, and that was very important to them, and people who are in treatment at the moment that were involved in it.
Yeah, so I suppose we had to a little think about what charity. We wanted to give some of the proceeds to charity, and we figured, look, unfortunately, cancer affects most people. Yeah. There's 100 people in the calendar. The chances are that most people will be affected in some way by cancer. So we decided to go with the Irish Cancer Society. So there's a good few people that have gone through treatment and come out the other side. There's some people that are continuing on treatment. This picture here, which is November. This man had been to treatment, and he had approached me earlier on in the year and said he'd like to do something to give back.
Okay, great.
So he brought along his two nephews. This was a gas story actually. They'd had two weddings. He got married himself actually, and then they had another nephew got married as well. So they were coming from a few heavy days, I'd say now, to take this picture.
And, to go play cards.
Yeah, to go. Well, the two boys arrived anyway, and he said to them, now you can tell them what they're doing. So the two boys didn't really know what they were coming to do. They had no idea. No. So the first question was, are you 18, lads? Yeah. And so once we discovered that they were of consenting age, we explained to them what it was all about. And you know what? It just shows the character of the two boys and their uncle and what a gent he is.
He does look like he's been on a bit of a session for a few days. Fair play to you for doing that.
And he's holding the royal flush, you know, so it's like life deals you a set of cards.
Yeah. And
you just
love it.
And there's a chair there in that picture as well, just an empty chair that just depicts the community spirit and, you know, the people that we've lost and the people, if they're struggling, that Abbyfeale is a real community.
Well, it looks like it's a lovely warm welcome to the village, to the town as well. The shop you just mentioned, you can pick it up
on shipandmachon.ie.
So, on the main street.
On the main street, yeah.
But you can get it online.
You can get it online, and then we send it to everywhere in the world. They've gone to the States, they've gone to Australia, and people are sending back photos of where they are in the world.
Where they're watching.
Aoife and Noreen, listen. The two ladies of December, that's what it is. That's it. Okay. Listen, thank you so much for coming and talking to us.
Thanks for having us.
So the Bare Essentials calendar celebrating Aoibhinn. Fair play to them.
There you go. Down with that sort of thing.
We'll get an Ireland AM one just with Alan and Tommy. Lots more on the way.
See you soon.
What are we going to do today?
Because it's lashing rain out most of the country this morning, so we're talking about winter coats, and an outfit sorted between now and Christmas is a good winter coat. That's what we need.
Exactly. We're taking a look at winter coats, and with all of these winter coats this morning, whether you want to wear them to a Christmas party, a dinner out that you might have, or whether you want to layer them with knitwear, jeans, make a more casual look out of it, that's what you can do with all of these coats available from Lucan Shopping Centre.
Lovely. So, Rob Condon, we're going to start straight away with Sarah.
Yes, Sarah is with us first with this look, and I love this look.
Look at this.
I really do. It's a really
going, yeah, I take that one, I'll have that.
Sophisticated and stylish look with this. Now, we've kept it quite dressy this morning. I think it'd be a perfect outfit for Christmas Day with the coat from Lisa Baker here. It's a wool brush coat. It's a check design to it. It's double-breasted, really oversized lapel detail into it, which you can see there, the attention to detail and the design of this coat. There's lots you're going to be able to do with this, whether you want to keep it quite sleek and tailored underneath it, or whether you want to layer it up with some knitwear, a pair of jeans. It's going to work for your casual wardrobe and your dressy wardrobe.
So you look like you're going to something in Monte Carlo.
I'm not, like, yes.
It's just not Ireland at the moment. I'm sorry. It definitely looks like you're in Monte Carlo.
Well, if you wanted to opt for a different colourway underneath it, you definitely could go with blacks underneath it. Really dark camels would look great. But we've gone with this champagne top, and you can see the detail into the V neckline to it, a little bit of a satin detail, so it's two-tone satin with it, so it's a really dressy piece there.
And the trousers, they're beautifully cropped.
Yeah, they are. They're beautifully cropped. They're a high-waisted, three-quarter length, so you can see there's a little bit of a 70s vibe to them.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to go with a full length to these, you definitely could go with a darker camel with it. Even black could go great with this, or a burgundy colour would work really well with it also.
Very nice.
Yeah.
The bag.
And then we've got the bag there, so it's a little bit darker of the camel tone, just showing that all those different camel tones are going to work with this look as well.
Yeah, you can pick up on so many different things with it as well.
Loving the jewellery with it as well.
Yeah, accessory-wise then this morning, we have, first off, the earrings. So we've gone with these hoop earrings, which then go down into a burgundy stone to them. So as I was saying there about burgundy work, and you can see that it does work really well with it. These are from the jewellers in Lucan, and we've matched the burgundy back in then with the Gucci sunglasses there, which are just a really stylish piece to add to your wardrobe. And lots of people do like to wear sunglasses in winter because of the rays. Yeah, exactly.
I know I always have this argument with Tommy. I'm like, how do you not wear sunglasses?
No, sometimes it's freezing, but the sun is beaming at you.
Yeah.
Like
so
yesterday it was like that. Yeah,
exactly.
We're going to move on to look 2. This is blonde this morning.
Blonde is with us now, and always an elegant piece is a camel coat. And this one this morning, there's a little bit of a military vibe with this camel coat. What I think is perfect about a camel coat, you can throw it over a dress, throw it over a sequins dress. It goes with red, it goes with burgundy, but it also is going to work in your casual wardrobe. This coat is from Dunnes Stores, and you can see the military vibe with those gold button detail to it. It's faux pockets. Now, we've gone up a size in this, so you can see it does work a little bit oversized, and you want to do that if you're going to layer underneath it as well. And I always think with a coat to go up a size, to have that kind of oversized look always looks great.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
I much prefer that, so that you can do whatever you want. You've gone quite blingy underneath with that belt.
Yes, we have. We've gone with the dress there. We've got the really oversized belt, which is going to go with lots of different things in your wardrobe, and it's going to just give it that update.
Did you add the belt?
We've added the belt,
it all up,
yeah, I've added the belt this morning with the dress. Really great dress. A little bit of a shirt vibe dress to the top of it there.
It's a great price for that dress, €30.
And it's an A-line dress. Also, if you got rid of the belt with this dress, and if you wanted to go with just a plain belt with it, it would make the look a little bit more casual, but by adding the belt, it just dresses it up.
Is that dress new into Dunnes? That's a great dress.
Really great little dress.
Oh, I love it, very nice.
And you can see the kind of sheer detail into the sleeve of it as well, there with it. And then we've added the clutch bag there, the gold clutch bag. But if you wanted to go with an oversized shopper, it would make this look a little bit more casual also. And that bag from Lisa Baker there just adds a little bit of style.
Very nice.
Look at these boots.
Yeah.
Boots doing their thing as well, and you had lovely little earrings with that. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved that look now, I have to say. That dress.
Yeah.
And we're keeping it very dressy here with Danny in this gorgeous festive style. With this look here. This coat is just a brilliant coat for winter. Definitely a coat that you're going to be able to bring to any party or event you have this season. I love the oversized pocket detail to it there, and it's just going to go with any colour you have in your wardrobe.
Put it into the cloakroom, lads. It's going to get, don't even let around the red wine.
With your wife last week, I saw.
Be careful, guys. That's a gorgeous coat.
Yeah, and underneath it then we have gone with this beautiful pink dress underneath it. As Danny takes off the coat there, you can see the detail to the cuff and also to the hemline of this dress.
Where's that from?
An A-line dress.
As well.
Yeah,
Dunnes.
It's available from Dunnes. It's an A-line dress, so it's going to suit a lot of different body shapes because of the shape to this dress. But I just think it is the perfect dress for any Christmas party or event that you might have coming up.
And do you know what? With the feather details, sometimes it can feel like it's not weighed down enough. It's a bit flyaway. That's heavy at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to get that fit and flair to it. It's just going to give a little bit of weight for when you are walking in it. But I just think it is a really classic dress. And then we finished it off with the earrings there. there. They're a hoop-style earring, and you can see the diamante detailing to the side of them. But I think a really great look. I think with this dress, though, just go with an earring. Don't start putting a chain to it. There's enough going on with it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and the bag that you have matching there as well. Absolutely gorgeous outfit.
A lot of people rushing to Dunn's this morning.
I'm not even joking. Those two, I'm like, I'm going to go in later on. They'll both be gone. It's unbelievable. Sarah, oh, look at this colour now.
Another forest green here. Coat here, but it's a great piece to add to your wardrobe. We've gone a little bit more casual this morning. We had the dresses there. This coat is available from Dunnes Stores at €60. It's a duster style coat. Again, we've oversized with this coat because you're going to be able to layer it up underneath it. I think with a duster coat, you want to have that oversizedness to it. You've got to go with so many different things. Black dress underneath this would work really well. We've gone with the sequins top this morning. It's a round neck sequins top, cap sleeve. It's available from Lisa Baker. Definitely, if you want to dress this up, you go with a leather A-line skirt with it, or a pencil skirt would make it a really classic and chic look. But we have gone with the leathers this morning, so keeping it kind of cool and casual there with these at €99. You can see the zip detail, they're a really great fit as well.
Look at this
and then
bag.
we have matched back in with this beautiful quilted fringe bag, a really statement piece to add to
really
your
is a
outfit.
statement piece, isn't it?
It definitely is, and they're all available from Lucan Shopping Centre right now.
So, lads, it's raining a lot at the minute today. I just have the brolly if they're all running out of Dunn's right now. From Dunn's as well.
I know.
Knocking it out of the park.
Knocking it out of the park at the moment.
Look at the big smile on Sarah's face. She's going to get the Gucci because she loves it. She's like, oh my God.
I'm loving the earrings there with
Is it heavy, Sarah?
No, it's just really warm.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Love it. That's great. Rob Condon. Love those looks today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. They're fabulous,
They're
aren't they?
fabulous looks, really.
So you want Rob's
all
pants?
No, I want all those clothes. That sounds really bad. I was admiring his trousers earlier on, for God's sake.
Wants the pants. Anyway, they were all fabulous.
Coming up next, let's move on. We're reviewing all the antics from I'm a Celeb Jungle. We'll see in a few minutes. Now we're entering the final week and the campmates begin to be voted off one by one.
So before we chat to entertainment.ie's Brian Lloyd, here's a look back at all the jungle antics from the last few days.
One more says the goodbyes. Here on I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here!
I was making a joke about the chocolate. Let's have a bit of fun. And I didn't like the way you looked at me. I thought you looked at me with a weird...
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Well, you really
that wasn't my intention.
Well, that's what it felt like.
OK, I'm really sorry about that.
OK. You do it a lot, actually.
Leaving I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here 2022 is Charlie.
Blended duck's tongue.
Sure, it'll taste quacking.
That is blended, fermented bean curd.
Yes.
With all our love, Mama La and Father La. Kiss, 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 kiss. P.S. Feel free to eat this letter once you've read it.
The next person to leave I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here 2022 is Scarlett.
Wow. Brian, a lot happening over the weekend.
Yes.
And then, as we saw, Scarlett left last night. And she was gutted.
I thought she was gutted, yeah.
Good.
I mean, she was being great. I mean, what I found it, and this is my first time watching this, as you know, there were people that actually wanted to leave. Like, I think Charlene, like, I mean, you saw her in doing the Bush Tucker trial, like, she looked exhausted and she was practically having a panic attack. And I think when she was told that she was leaving, you could see the relief on her face. She was happy to go home, missed her kids and all the rest of it. Scarlett, though, she looked absolutely devastated.
she was
like,
crying,
she really...
yeah.
And, like, it's interesting because, like, I mean... Like, she wasn't particularly, like, she wasn't abrasive with anyone. She wasn't like Boy George where she was arguing with people or getting kind of ratty or anything like that. She actually seemed to be enjoying it. So, I mean, I don't know why she was voted out, but I mean...
And why, none of us can understand why Matt Hancock is still there.
I was convinced. And, like, don't forget as well, his partner, Gina Collan, whatever her name is, she flew out to Australia to meet him and all the rest of it. So she was even expecting him to be voted out as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, whoever, like on on the CV getting voted out before Matt Hancock. That's a pretty low day,
That's
isn't
pretty,
it?
yeah. And like to be fair, like Sean Walsh was saying as well, is like I just didn't want to be the first person to go out, and
I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Now we did see, and it's always a real tearjerker. You said you even filled up yourself.
You put words in my mouth. Let's not kid ourselves
They got all letters from home.
Who did Matt Hancock's letter?
Sean.
The new girlfriend did.
Yeah, the new. Well, she sent him the letter.
She sent him the letter.
Yeah.
Imagine his wife and kids watching that.
I know. Yeah, it's a bit. But they did get that, and it's sort of. They're missing home. They're missing their loved ones.
Yeah.
And it does get very
You've been
teary
away for like a good week.
A month at this stage.
Well, it would be a month at this stage, yeah, in fairness. And, like, I think Charlene and Sue both were feeling it in particular because they're both mothers and all the rest of it. Yeah. Then again, like, I mean, Mike as well, I think he was kind of felt a little bit kind of emotional about it when he was hearing from Zara about the kids and everything else. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely was emotional. Owen, though, I think, God, he broke to tears when his mum was sending him the letter and all the rest of it. Like, and I think like, the stresses of the jungle, like, the fact that, like, you know, they're not eating what they normally... They don't have their regular kind of comforts. And then on top of that as well, we'll just...
It's kind of an overwhelming experience that they're under.
Totally,
And when you get a bit of home comfort, and listen, we don't get nice messages from our parents or our family very often.
I don't do it.
So with that and the loneliness of the jungle, it would bring in. Now, speaking of trials, Mike and Jill took on the Speakeasy trial.
Yeah.
And did they smash it?
They just
like, this is it's like being in a pub.
Oh, yeah. Like, it'll be a quacking good time. Like, I mean, now, I will say, the stuff that they were drinking. Absolutely disgusting.
Mike Tyndall, they just necked it.
Okay, now here's a question, right? Because you know Mike Tyndall on a professional basis. Were you surprised that he just, like, ploughed that back in, like?
No, I wasn't surprised. I watched him doing a big goblet one.
Yeah,
and I don't know what was in it.
Oh, yeah.
And he literally, you could see it floating, and he's running straight back. I mean, to be fair, Mike Tyndall, of course, he's married to Zara Phillips. He's part of royalty. I think he is doing so well.
Yeah.
And actually, apart from the trials, because he's done well, he seems to be a real father figure almost.
Oh,
he seems to be really good and comfort. Like,
especially with Sue last night.
Yeah, definitely.
He was so nice with her.
Yeah, but like I think like the reason why they did so well, I think it's because the fact that they're both sports people. They're just naturally competitive people. So just like, I'm going to plough this back if you're doing it and all the rest of it.
Well, listen, you get initiations with rugby. You have to do these.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Yeah.
Now the campmates are having their little. Every time Matt's not there, they all have to get together and go. Do we like him? No, we don't like him.
Yeah.
We really like. They're not warming to him at all.
Not in the slightest. And like, to be honest, like I see it. Like Boy George was giving out saying that like everyone's being fake and all the rest of it. And I don't know what to make of Matt Hancock. I totally get that because. Okay, first of all, everyone there is on their best behaviour. I think that's absolutely true because, like, there are cameras pointed at them at every single point in this thing. It's not like Big Brother where, there's mirrors up and it's meant to be unobtrusive. They very much know that they're on TV, so everyone is given their best behaviour. And obviously for somebody like Boy George, who, is very much unashamed of his, he's very much out there and all the rest of it, to see people being false, I think, not even false, but I suppose being on their best behaviour, trying to be accommodating. If
you want to give out to somebody, give out to them. Don't not try and cause friction. Everyone's trying not to cause friction.
Exactly, yeah.
Is it awkward, though? Because, Matt Hancock and... how is Boy George coming across in it?
I don't think he really cares how he comes across.
But he's the most paid, isn't he?
We're saying maybe 600,000-700,000 that he's after getting for this. So I don't think he'd care now if he got voted off tonight or tomorrow.
He wouldn't give a...
He'd be in the 5-star hotel collecting the money and going, that was very nice, thank you very much. Now, there is a thing that... Is this true that he had this big diva
That's what's been
fit?
reported, yeah. So the story was that essentially Sue Cleaver was given the use of a buggy to bring her up the hill because apparently there's a very steep hill from where they are to where they are. And Boy George apparently wanted to use the buggy as well, and he was refused. Told, no, you got to walk. Yeah. Apparently, threw a big strap, went into one of the production tents, stole an apple, and then ran into the jungle like Rambo, just hiding, like clutched down in the jungle, eating this apple until the production had to basically find him and bring him back in. Now, none of that was on the show, obviously.
Yeah.
It might make it in tonight, although I doubt it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, these people are like in the jungle. Like, it's not a joke. Like, they probably are all exhausted, sleeping in hammocks and all the rest of it, getting tired and ratty. And
it beats the castle in Wales, to be fair.
Oh, it does.
100%, yeah.
But I don't like that if she's allowed to do that and get the thing, and they say sometimes, oh, you can't do this trial on medical grounds. They should at least tell us what the medical grounds are. So that people are a bit aware maybe of it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, like, Boy George is 61 as well. Like, I mean, he's no spring chicken.
Yeah.
Like, so I could imagine he probably does have, like, sore knees and all the rest of it.
OK,
so.
who do you think at this
week
stage?
to go.
I'm thinking Mike.
I'm thinking Mike.
What about Chris Moyles?
No, I think Mike or Owen. I think he's coming across so lovely.
Yeah, he's gone really... I think he's the favourite.
I think
Mike, I think, is third favourite, and then Matt Hancock is fourth favourite.
Oh, gee, if Matt Hancock...
Imagine he went...
Matt
Like, it's
Hancock
been
won.
kind of a PR positive story for him.
It has, but, like, to be honest, like, you know, like, he's putting across a good face, but, like, it's false. That's it. He's a politician. Like, he knows what it is to be on camera. He knows what it is to try to get people on side. He's just using all his political skills. And like, Boy George is seeing right through it. So, like, I'm on Boy George's side 100%. Like, so.
I can't believe he's lasted as long as he has.
Same.
Let's see what happens tonight and be on at 9 o'clock. And we'll see you tomorrow and every day this week. Did you know that?
I might actually back on. I can't do tomorrow. I'm not kidding.
It's on Virgin Media 1 at 9:15 as well. You can catch that.
At 9:15 tonight, yeah. Now, what's coming up on tomorrow's show, Muireann?
On tomorrow's show, Phil Coulter will be here for a chat ahead of his new tour. We'll be getting newborns to sleep. Colin Baker has some Black Friday deals, and Brian Lloyd will definitely be here every single day this week. We just didn't bother telling him. He won't have to.
Of course he will. Hey, Phil Coulter singing Ireland's Call.
There you go now. You'll get in with him. That's what it'll be.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you
wrote it.
So much for joining us today. Lovely to have
Oh,
only two boys back.
We're all back. That's it.
Three very best friends in the
See you tomorrow.
world.
See ya.
Bye. I'll talk to you later.